Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another review. And just in case people are wondering why it's dark, I figure for Halloween, maybe make the room dark and put it in the mood of the Halloween season. But the next film I want to review is a flick I've been meaning to review for a while. And it's a movie that came out around 1987, and it's Dolls. A flick directed by Stuart Gordon, and easily one of my favorite Stuart Gordon films. Now, Stuart Gordon is the guy who did Reanimator before this. He did From Beyond. He did Robot Jocks. And after he did Reanimator, Charles Band had this idea. He had a poster, the famous poster with the eyes and the doll holding two eyeballs. Went to this guy, Ed Naha, and said, "Could you write a script based on this poster?" And the guy's like, "Well, can I have more than one doll? Because if it's about killer dolls," Charles Band's like, "Sure." Reanimator came out and a lot of people liked it, so they gave it to Stuart Gordon. And Stuart Gordon, what he wanted to do From Beyond, which was another H.P. Lovecraft based flick. And Charles Band's like, "Okay, you can do that, but do this and that film back to back." So they shot on some of the same sets, and he did. Stuart Gordon made Dolls first and then made From Beyond. But then what happened was Dolls had some stop motion animation, and it took longer to finish the movie because of the stop motion animation of some of the dolls. That takes a lot of time. And that, even though Dolls was technically made first, From Beyond came out first because it got finished sooner. Because again, Dolls, they had to wait for the stop motion animation to be completed. So Dolls came out. It was made before From Beyond, but it came out after From Beyond. And Dolls, I think quite a few people don't care for it because it doesn't have the big goopy gore and the big manic energy of a Reanimator or From Beyond. If you're expecting a body count, you're not getting it because you get maybe 4 people who get killed. If you're expecting big gore spots, there's little bits of blood, but it's not a big gorehound type of thing a la Reanimator. And I think people felt that it was a soft movie, that it was a toned down version of a Stuart Gordon movie, that it's more of a dark, grim fairy tale and has a little bit of sweetness to it. And so I think some people were put off by that. And it's like, where's the fucked up shit like the Reanimator and From Beyond and the over the top gore? Where's that? So Stuart Gordon did something a little bit different. And I like this movie. I like the VHS cover is something I remember ever since I was a kid. I don't think I saw this film when I was a kid, but I remember the VHS for the longest time, that cover, seeing it at a store, and just a great image. And that pretty much is in the film, which is cool. First off, the film is very, very short. It's only an hour and 17 minutes. I think that's with the end credits. I mean, it's like an hour and 17 minutes. Without the end credits, probably an hour and 15 minutes. It's a very, very short film. So it doesn't take much of your time to watch it. It's a very simple story. It's a bunch of people in a house during a dark and stormy night, and you have a little kid. You have a guy who, a bit of a young at heart, Stephen Lee, who, if you've ever seen RoboCop 2, he's the bad cop that gets involved with the bad guys, and RoboCop is sort of busting him around an arcade. That's Stephen Lee, and unfortunately he passed away, which is too bad. He did really good as again, sort of, let me backtrack. It starts off as a storm coming. The little kid, who I thought did a good job, she was sweet. She wasn't annoying. She wasn't irritating. Felt very sorry for this kid. And you can tell what kind of movie it is, where she's actually reading a Hansel and Gretel book in the back of the car. And the two people who are driving, it's like her dad and her stepmom. And her stepmom is pretty much Cruella DeVille. Like, she's such a snobby bitch, rich bitch. And then the dad is a fucking asshole beyond assholes. And her mom, we hear, is sweet, but she's in Boston. And then it's like, well, why the fuck do these people have this kid then if they don't like her? Stepmom doesn't like her. Even the dad doesn't like her. Hell, there's one moment that he's ready to smack the kid. And this is like a very sweet, innocent little girl. I mean, even to a point where their car gets stuck. They have to go to this house. The evil stepmom bitch, I'll just call her evil bitch, throws the little girl's teddy into the woods, and she actually imagines her teddy being big and it looks nice, like friendly, and then this weird teddy like rips out of the nice big teddy costume, and this weird teddy is like biting the arm off the evil bitch and scratching the shit out of the dad, and blood on his face, and then killing them. And then the little girl goes, "Oh, Teddy," and like the Teddy's like, like his shoulders up. Oh shucks. And then she gets snapped out of it by the stepmom hitting her in the head, slap her in the back of the head, and they just treat her like shit. You just feel sorry for this kid. And they go up to this house, and what's answered by these two old folks who seem very sweet. Of course, later on you find out they're into witchcraft, and this film is a big morality to it. If you're a good person and a child at heart, it'll be fine. But if you're an asshole or a thief or an evil bitch, you don't get punished and perhaps turned into dolls by these two old sweet folks who are really deals in witchcraft. And then Stephen Lee, his character Ralph, that was his character. Ralph comes in from the rain and he picked up these two hitchhikers, which are these two punk girls. And later on, you find out that the punk girl is trying to steal, and then she gets attacked and head bashed into a wall. And you have this scene that I always remember. It was on back of one of the VHS where the punk girl is trying to reach out to the little girl, and I think the little girl's name, the actress, is Carrie Lorraine. And like the punk girl trying to reach up to the little girl, and the little girl she doesn't know what to do. She's like, and the punk girl gets grabbed and pulled away. And the little girl tries to tell her dad, and her dad's like ready to smack her in the face because he's an asshole. So she goes to Stephen Lee. Which Stephen Lee, again, I really want to say, Stephen Lee and as the young at heart, the good guy, Ralph, and Carrie Lorraine as little girl, they did very well. And they have, I like the chemistry, the friendship they have together, that they create with each other. And she's trying to tell him, well, the elves took her. Maybe what if they did more people? And he's like, well, suppose they're satisfied with just one. I don't know. Maybe they're lonely. I mean, of course he doesn't believe her, but he's nice about it, unlike her asshole dad. And it's like, oh, elves, whatever. But then he notices some blood on the girl's slippers, and they go off, and some fun dialogue. Like the little girl going, I think it was around here, and Stephen Lee goes, "You're not sure?" She's like, "Well, what do you want from me? I'm 7 years old." And it's more of a, it's not a haunted house movie, but it's the group of people stuck in a haunted house movie. I mean, even though it's not haunted, it's dolls and witchcraft, but it's a very simple, quaint little film. Quaint is a good word for it. and other people get picked off. The stepmom, she gets stabbed. You have some nice stop motion effects of the dolls coming after her, biting her, trying to saw her arm and ankle off, ultimately making her jump out the window. You have the scene where the other punk girl finds her friend, and you have the poster shot where the punk girl's face has been turned to a doll face, and these eyeballs just pop to the ground and picks up and does this. And you realize that what the dolls do is, after killing them or stopping them, these people will get turned into dolls. Because even the little dolls itself, if you break them open, you'll find like a mummified corpse behind the little dolls. So if you like break open the face, you'll see like teeth and like dried up skin. And I like that idea. That was a cool idea. I like the way it looks too. And some nice shots, nice stop motion shots. Like when Stephen Lee, a little girl, go into this room with all these dolls, and all the dolls' head turn at the same time to look at him. Some nice sweet moments, like when they start attacking Stephen Lee, and the little girl, she's a brave little girl. She defends them. He's like, "Stop it! You're bad dollies. Leave them alone." And that's the thing. I like the kid. She's not annoying. She's not screaming and whining all the time. This girl gets treated like shit, and she's a champ. She's not whining. She's not crying all the time. She's not like, if you did it all the time, it would get annoying. So she's a champ, and she's tough. She stands up for her friend there, helps him out, and also I miss stop motion animation. That's an art form that is never done anymore. They don't do that anymore. I don't know why. I mean, technically, that TV show Robot Chicken is stop motion. But like, I'm talking about like movies, horror films, creature features. You never see stop motion animation, and I miss that because there's a charm to it, and there's still a physicality to it. Even though it's technically animation, it's still a physicality because it's, you say this is the doll, and then you move this, boom, then you move like this, boom, and then move this, click, move this, click, move this, click, move this, click, move this, click. Then you get animation of, it's still something tangible. It's still something physically there that you're moving and shooting, and I like the look of stop motion. And when the a lot of times it's sort of using strings and puppetry, but when the stop motion happens, it's really cool. And I like how they're not sure who Stephen Lee is. Should we let him go? I like one who has like a cowboy outfit, does her the, like, he puts his arm up and has a smile face. I don't know how to describe it. That made me chuckle a bit. One punk girl gets shot by toy soldiers, and you have some nice practical blood squibs. The dad thinks that Stephen Lee killed his girlfriend, the stepmom, and has a fun little fight with Stephen Lee. And Stephen Lee, he's pretty funny. Your father sounds upset. You killed her. And the little girl goes, no, he didn't. And Stephen Lee looks at her and goes, yeah, no, he didn't. And like he's about to throw a dolly, but you hear like a little, and then he stops and he sort of rocks the little dolly and stops it and has a little fun fight. But then the dad's an asshole. He even takes his own daughter and slams her and knocks her out and gets his comeuppance. I like when the asshole dad, though, he smashes this one clown doll and he yells, "Fuck you, clowny!" That did make me laugh. But yeah, the two old folks, old man, old woman, who seem like sweet folks, they go down. And I think the guy, I think the actor's name is Direwolf. I think he would be the puppet master in some of the sequels, like Puppet Master 3. and maybe 4 and 5. I think that's him. I could be wrong, but I think that's him. Only he's got like a little bit of mustache in those movies. I think he's in 3, 4, and 5 of the Puppet Masters. I could be wrong though. But yeah, they pretty much tell about how some people could be saved. But, frankly, if you're an asshole, you start over and you play a new role in the big game. And turns the dad into a new version of this clown doll that he had smashed, which was named Punch. And it ends sweet. The little girl's going to get to go back to her mom, which is the best thing for the girl. The 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 old guy has this BS letter saying about how, your dad, he left and said you should go back, and that he was a bad daddy. And then Stephen Lee's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And where's the other stuff? Where are the two girls? Then the guy takes out the letter. P.S. I took the two hitchhikers with me. And Steve's like, what? And then the guy just throws the paper right into the fireplace. The scene plays out funnier than I'm making it sound like in the video. But it's a nice little scene. These two head out, and the little girl finds her teddy bear. And I thought this was sweet. Goes up to them, and I think Teddy would like to hear with the other dolls, and gives them her teddy. And Stephen Lee and little girl drive off, and the little girl keeps asking him questions. Are you married? You don't like my mom in Boston. Hey, you ever wanted a daughter? And I know there was actually talks of a Dolls 2, but never happened, which is too bad. Would have been curious to see what had happened. And then as the film ends, another family comes in, or another group comes in, and I'm wondering if there's been times before, what happens if it's only the kids left? What happens to the kids? Let's say you have two parents and two kids, and the two parents die. What happens to the two kids? Do they just get sent off? Learn how to drive the car. You drive, or do you just drive them off to leave them in the street, or do you do a fucking time bandits where you just leave them alone and you figure the shit out? You have nothing left at the end of Time Bandits. I mean, so you gave me some questions, and yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see more gore. And there was talks. They had shot a scene where the dolls had put like a little pitchfork and ripped some intestines out, but they didn't use it because this doesn't seem like that kind of movie. But I would like to see a little bit more body count, a little bit more action with the dolls. But still, it's a sweet, quaint, dark fairy tale, grim story. The grim fairy tale story. It's a dark fairy tale with a little bit of horror, a little bit of sweetness. Little girl's good. Stephen Lee is good. Short enough that it doesn't was never boring to me. It's only an hour and 17 minutes. Some nice makeup effects. Nice take on killer dolls. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie dealing with killer dolls. I'd probably say Child's Play 1 and 2 would be my favorites of that subgenre, but this is up there. I would say I put Child's Play above it because it does have a bit more oomph. I mean, Chucky himself, his personality, Brad Dourif, and the other actors getting a little bit more oomph and a bit more action. You got the car chase with Chris Sarandon and Chucky trying to kill him. You got the ending chase between Andy and Chucky, and Chucky being blown apart, and it's got a bit more energy and just that oomph to it. And I think Child's Play came out in '88, so a year after this. But Doll's still a nice, sweet little dark fairy tale little film. Little morality to it where the bad guys get their just desserts and the good guys don't. And I like that morality. I'm for that morality. So, yeah, Dolls, nice little film, different from Stuart Gordon's other films, but I thought he did a really good job, Stuart Gordon. Yeah, I definitely say it's one of my favorites of his. So that's just my thoughts on Dolls. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.